Hey guys, welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. Brian, Mr. Smith Kitchen, as always. And tonight, since you stopped by, and I'm so glad you did. I love it when you guys stop by. It's so much fun. Conversation is unreal. And tonight, we're going to do meatballs. But we're going to do Hawaiian meatball. Chris had found this recipe, I believe on Facebook. I don't remember now who the recipe came from, but when I remember, I'll put it right here, as always. And it sounded really good. You know, not only did it have some really nice ingredients in it, but it's got pineapple involved in it and some pineapple juice. And I thought, man, with it being cold and like today it's rainy, yeah, that would bring a nice lift to it. And it's got a really nice, you know, sweet sauce. You know, it's got pineapple juice in it that goes over the meatballs, and then we're going to start with some rice, maybe some broccoli on the side. I haven't decided yet, but either way, it's going to be tasty. If you're new to my channel, this is your first video. Welcome. I'm glad you stopped by the neighborhood. You know, if you're returning, you know, thank you. If you're one of our several new subscribers, that is awesome, and thank you. You know, our little community is just steadily turning into a small town, which is awesome. Just awesome. It is way more than I ever thought it would be. You know, what are you off talking for a second? But this time last year, my goal for, you know, new subscribers was only 500. I mean, I just hit 200. I'm thinking, okay, you know, if I can hit 200 subscribers, well, it was like I gained like 120 new subscribers in a year. You know, that to me was a good goal. Because I didn't really do any promoting on my channel. It's not like I'm, you know, on social media going, hey, check me out on YouTube or anything like that. But then all of a sudden, video took off, and now we're well over 3,000 subscribers. You know, so that just blew my goal of 500 or 200 out of the water, which is amazing. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe we should be a little more aggressive this year and maybe shoot for 5,000. But the only way that's going to happen is if you share, like, and subscribe. And even the notification bell, all those help in the algorithm. The notification bell just simply lets you know when my videos come out. Doesn't mean you got to jump right on them, although that would be awesome if you did. But at least they let you know they're there. I never take you guys for granted. The fact you spend time with me and take time out of your day to hang out with me is awesome. Couple things to show you. I'm pretty sure I showed you the vinegar last week. That was a serrano pepper and honey. I still have yet to find a recipe I want to use it in, but we're getting there. But in the 30 some years I've been running restaurants, I have never ever had an employee buy me a gift for Christmas. You know, and Chris tells me that it's not uncommon for employees to get together and buy their boss something for Christmas, but it's just never happened to me. But this year, I got the coolest gift in the world. Let me turn it around so you can see the front of it. And it's a mold for cookies that you can make glasses out of. They're shot glasses. Now, of course, you could put more than just booze in them, which I probably will. It makes 24 per batch, but and I'll probably make some with maybe a little bourbon in them. But you can put ice cream in them. You can put just anything. Chocolate milk, be awesome. Milk and cookies, all in one cup. And this was probably like the best gift ever. There was a lot of thought put into that, and it's a very unique gift. And Crystal, and you girls, I can't really thank you enough. I just think that's awesome. Another one I got is, and like I said, I don't know if I showed you this one last week or not, but I most like the tag because it just screams like 1950s. But on the back of it, it says, "Don't tug, cut doohickeys," which they're talking about the little plastic thingies that are holding this on. I won't cut it off because I really like the tag. But my sister-in-law got me this, and this is definitely our sense of humor. But it just simply says a word I can't say because it's YouTube and I'm family friendly. But I am the secret ingredient. Great stuff. Definitely great stuff. I thought that was just absolutely funny. I couldn't stop laughing when I read it. And Heather, thank you. I can't. Yeah, stuff like that is amazing. But anyhow, back to the topic at hand. It's Hawaiian meatballs. When I serve it over rice, it's got a really nice sweet sauce. I think this is going to be an amazing dish. So that being said, why don't we head on down to the counter and, don't forget, like, subscribe, share, like I said a second ago. Comments, real quick. Comments, always welcome, love them. Just be nice before you type, or think before you type. You don't have to agree with me or anybody else in the comments. Just be civil. So now, let's head on down to the counter here, and we'll start making our meatballs. All right, hold on for me 1 second. Okay, so we're down here at the counter, and things you will need to make this with is a bowl. So we mix our meatballs in. You will need a pot that we can make our sauce in, and do up our sweet peppers, which we'll get to that here in a minute. But I have doubled this recipe. So if you want to half it, I mean literally half of everything, this is going to yield me about 40 meatballs if I do it right. There are 6 of us eating, so I figure that's about roughly a half a dozen piece. But yeah, about half a dozen piece, 8 a piece, right around there. And that will be plenty. If not, I mean, worst case scenario, we have leftovers. I love leftovers. Most people don't like leftovers anymore, which is really weird. So anyhow, if you don't want to double this and just make 20 meatballs, you only need 1 pound. But I've got 2 pounds of hamburger in a large bowl. To this, I am going to add some spices. I have got 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic. I've got 2 teaspoons of ginger, which I thought was, and that's just powdered ginger or ground ginger. And you're gonna put that in the bowl. I thought that was kind of crazy. I have got 1 cup of breadcrumbs. I'm using panko. I know they can be pricey at times, but you use what breadcrumb you have available. But you want 1 cup of breadcrumbs. Put that in there. I have got a half a cup of diced onion, which was about 1 small to medium onion. Not quite a medium onion, but a little more than a small. And we're gonna put that in there. And then our last ingredient is 2 large eggs that we'll put in there. Now I'm not gonna whip mine up first. I never have. This is like making a meatloaf. So just in. And now I use a glove when I'm mixing my hamburger up. You don't have to. You can use a spoon. You can use your bare hand. I just find it neater and more convenient to be able to take the glove off when I'm done. But I'm going to go ahead and get this mixed up real good, get everything incorporated, just like baking. All right, now we've got this incorporated. Now, my mom, when she would make meatloaf or meatballs, as the case may be, she would always use her stand mixer to do that, and you can. I do it like on days like if we're making meatloaf or hamburgers or something like that, and my hands hurt, I use my stand mixer with paddle attachment. You just don't want to over mix it. You can start to actually break down your hamburger. Doing it that way, and you don't want to go fast. So like if you are using a stand mixer, you want to use the lowest setting and do it for as short a time as possible. But you want to make sure that everything's mixed in together real well too. So like if I lift this up, I don't want to see any breadcrumbs or anything like that on the bottom, right? So we got that done. So all we have left to do before we go any further is I am going to set my oven on broil. Now, if your oven has 2 options, a low and a high, put it on high. And then we are going to grab a full sheet pan, just like such. And if you're new to my channel, you are literally you have seen my entire kitchen. Right behind you, behind the camera, is a door and a window, and that's it. I have a small galley kitchen at the moment. We are trying our hardest to get the money together to extend this kitchen out, plus put a separate kitchen in the basement. Cabinets seem to be the biggest expense, oddly enough. So I've got a full sheet pan. I've got it lined with parchment paper. And then we're gonna do about table-sized meatballs. Yeah, and of course, you can make these as big as small as you want. They're just going to, you'll have to adjust your cooking time. So all I'm gonna do is just take a tablespoon out, get about that much meatball. I'm gonna roll it in my hands, just like this, right in the palm, right? Just like that, till we form a nice ball. It's like making chocolate chip cookies. And then we're just gonna stick this in the pan. Now, if you're wondering why we put that on broil instead of bake, because we will put it on bake, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sear these first. And by putting it on broil, and then baking them, by putting them on broil, it gets them up close to that heat on that top element, and it'll allow it to sear it in real quick so they won't collapse, they won't, they'll hold their shape basically. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get these put together, and when I come back, we will get them in the oven and make some sauce. Okay, so we got our meatballs done, and I almost got 40. Almost. I ended up with 36, which is okay. So I ended up weighing mine out, right? So the first couple I did, one weighed 33 grams, one weighed 34 grams. So I went ahead and made them all 33 grams, and I've come to the conclusion you need them to be about, if you're gonna weigh them out so that way they are even, about 30 grams each. That'll give you 40 or 20 if you're only doing a single batch. So what we're gonna do is we got our broiler set, right? We're gonna put these in here and we're gonna put them in for 10 minutes. And I moved that upper rack up, not to the top one, but the one below it. If you've got 5 slots, it's the second one down. And I'm gonna go ahead and set my timer for 10 minutes. And when that goes off, then I am going to turn my oven on to 375 degrees. Meanwhile, we are going to get some some oil heating up in our pot. That way, and we're gonna medium-high heat, so about 5 to 6 on the number dial. If you're using an electric oven, everybody's is a little different. I still have yet to figure out what a Mark III is, or I think I do have it figured out. So I follow a gentleman, John Kirkwood, I believe is his name. He's an English guy who has a wonderful channel. But he sounds like Winnie the Pooh, which is awesome. But anyhow, he always says when he's baking something, he'll say 350 degrees, 180 degrees Celsius, or Mark III. And I haven't figured out what the mark is, what measurement is that. Is that a particular stove brand that's in Europe, or is that something that's just strictly European? So if you know, let me know. I would be very curious. That being said, another thing I wanted to show you real quick while that's warming up, and before I basically turn off the camera and come back when that's ready to go. I meant to show you this a while back. I am making my own vanilla extract, and I am so excited for this, although I won't be able to try it for quite some time. It's literally when we did up our apples for applesauce and stuff like that, I also did sliced apples with vanilla, and the syrup I put in was vanilla and I can't remember what the other ingredient was, but it was vanilla at any rate. And so we found Madagascar vanilla beans online for a ridiculously good price. It was like $22 for 25 of them. And I got all my apples done up, and all the ones that I wanted to do that were vanilla flavored, and cinnamon. That was the other one, vanilla and cinnamon. And I had some left over, and I thought, you know what? Let's make some homemade vanilla extract. But it takes a year, literally. And I did this on December 3rd. So next year on December 3rd, we'll be able to try our first batch ever of vanilla. And I did like 6 of these. It's an entire liter of good vodka with 3 vanilla beans cut open and put in it each. So anyhow, that being said, let's finish getting this warmed up, and then when I get back, we will start sauteing some stuff. Okay, we are down here at the stovetop. I thought I'd move the camera over so you guys can see in the pot. I know sometimes I don't. I don't know if that's really the best practice. I'm not a cinematographer or director, but anyhow, I have 2 tablespoons of oil in here that have heated up, and it's starting to lightly smoke. I can see it dancing. So what we're going to do is I have 4 cups of sweet peppers, bell peppers. I actually bought the little mini sweet peppers this time around. It was cheaper, it was more economical to buy those, which gave me 4 cups versus buying colored bell peppers. So I've got orange, yellow, and red in there. You can use any kind you want. I just wanted orange, yellow, and red. It was more vibrant in color, represented Hawaii a little better, but you could throw green. You just have green ones for that matter. But anyhow, we're going to take that 4 cups of sweet peppers, we're going to put them in here, and we're going to get them softened up. And it's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to get that done. But, you know, it'll depend on what your version of medium high is, I guess. But we just want to get these started up so they're soft. Okay, so we are nice and soft and ready to go. It took about 5 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our peppers out of the bowl here real quick. Okay, let's just do this a little quicker. And yeah, I sat here in the beginning before the video. I went to go do something. I had something I needed to get started, and I couldn't remember what it was. And then it just hit me while these were softening up. Rice. You know, it's hard to have this over rice if we don't have rice. So now I got the rice going, but it won't take long. It only takes like 15 minutes. But you want to get it done ahead of time. So we've got our peppers are done. So the next thing we're going to put into our pot is we're going to do 1 cup of chicken broth. Yeah, and I use my own. We make our own broth. That way I can control the salt amount to it, and I don't have to fuss with okay, we're good. I don't have to fuss with worrying about what's in it. But I've got 1 cup of chicken broth. I have got 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. Chris says I say it wrong all the time, but that's how I say it, soy sauce. We're gonna put that in there, and let me grab the ingredients list. Sorry, I just kicked you over like that. We got peppers going, pineapple juice, soy sauce, brown sugar, vinegar. Yep. Okay, so and then we're gonna add 1 cup of pineapple juice, just like that. Now the pineapple juice, I got that from 2 20-ounce cans of chunks. I just drained the juice off of them. We're going to use those chunks, but we don't put them in until the end. So we've got 1 cup of pineapple juice, 1 cup of vinegar, 4 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 cup of chicken broth, so it's kind of equal parts other than the soy sauce. And then the last thing we're going to add, and that's white vinegar, is 1.5 cups of light brown sugar. Right? This is not for the faint of heart. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this up. We'll get it to a boil, take it down to a simmer, and let it simmer for like 5 minutes. That way we know the brown sugar is good and melted or dissolved. And oh, there goes our alarm. Yes, and while I was gone, my timer went off for the broil. So what I did was I took it off of broil, put it on bake, put the oven on bake, and I had it on 375. Now we're gonna let them go another 10 minutes, and then we'll check them. So I'll sacrifice a meatball to see if it's browned all the way through. We don't want any pink in it. So, and if they're done, then we can go ahead and pull them out and set them off to the side. All right, now we have been simmering for about 5 minutes, and we are good and solid. It might have been a little longer than that, but not by much. All we were looking to do is reduce this a little bit, concentrate it a little bit, and let all those members of the community get to know each other. And I gotta turn my rice down. Oop, put the lid on it. And I'm just doing a plain old white rice tonight, nothing fancy. Set the timer for it. Turn it on, that way it can go. Okay, so the next thing we gotta do, I have got a half a cup of water right here and a half a cup of cornstarch. And I'm gonna go ahead and make a mess by dumping that in there. Because that's what I do. Me and cornstarch have a love-hate relationship. We really do. It is quite the event sometimes. It's kind of like that icing on that cake last week. You know, it ended up getting everywhere. But that's all right. It still tasted really good. And the longer it sat, that marshmallow icing that we put on there, actually after it sat for a day and it was in the fridge, it kind of tasted like the same icing you would have on the little snack cakes that you buy at the grocery store. It was quite amazing, and it was so good. But we're gonna mix this up and with a little whisk and make it a slurry, just like such. And you always want to mix your cornstarch with water before you dump it in any dish, if you've never messed with cornstarch before in cooking. Because if you don't, you will end up with clumps, you know, or lumps and bumps and all that good stuff. So we got that in there, and then we will simply start to stir this, and we're going to pour it in. You know, we don't want to pour it in all at once. We want to give it a good mix as we go. There we go. Now we're going to let this go for about another 3-4 minutes until it thickens up. All right, so we have thickened up and we are bubbling, right? See how it's kind of bubbling? It looks more like a lava pit that's heated, which is cool in my mind. And so we know we are where we need to be. It's bubbling, it's thickened. So now we got to add our 40 ounces or 2 big cans of pineapples, chunks, right? Well, the recipe said chunks, but all I had was tidbits, which in my mind is chunks. We're gonna put those 40 ounces of pineapple in there, give that a good stir, just like such. And then we are gonna add our peppers back in, just like that. That's what we do. And then the last thing we gotta put in here is our meatballs. So I'll go ahead and get these bad boys going. They've cooled down a little bit, and they didn't turn out half bad. They're not perfectly round. They did flatten, which is, you know what, okay, because they're gonna taste delicious, I'm sure, anyhow. The important thing is they're done. Yeah, there's nothing, you don't want to make this for a party and then all of a sudden you've got people going, Brian, these things are pink in the center. Of course, if they're at your house and they say, Brian, they're pink in the center and your name's not Brian, that could be interesting. So we're going to get these in here. And I'm going to leave those 2 out because they're nowhere near round. Get those coated in this lovely sauce. And they did only take 10 minutes. So I turned it off of broil, turned it on to 375, let it go another 10 minutes, and by Jove, we had meatballs. So what we're gonna do now, we just gotta let this sit here and simmer for about 4 or 5 minutes. We want everything to get warm back up. You know, those peppers have been sitting out for a minute in a bowl. The meatballs have been sitting here for a minute on the stove top. I still have, you know, a few minutes left on the rice, and that'll give me the opportunity to clean up this disaster that I've created while making this dish. So hold on for me 1 second. When I get back, we should be able to put this over rice and try a little. All right, see you here in a second. All right, our rice is done. Our dish is done, and actually been sitting here for a second, cooling down a little bit, because even though, you know, it did simmer for about 5 minutes, everybody could play together, we don't want it to melt our face, but there we are. That would be our end result. You'll get a better view of it, I'm sure, when it's in the bowl, but I can tell you, I think it looks fantastic. It smells wonderful. You know, the only thing left to do is taste it, so we'll go ahead and get some rice here in the bowl. And I think next time I'm going to use basmati rice. That's my favorite rice. I'm not a big fan of just standard long grain enriched white rice. It's not very healthy for you, and it's kind of bland, but that's all right. So we'll get some rice in here, and then we'll get that. Get a couple good meatballs in here, along with some of that sauce, because, you know, what's rice without a little sauce on it? You know, and we want all that good stuff that's in there. I mean, hands down. And it is why I made 40 meatballs. I mean, let's be honest. So we'll get that going. Oh, that looks beautiful. Just beautiful. Although I did forget to grab the green onion. So hold on for me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab that so I can put it on top. Hold on for me. Okay, sorry about that. I had to get some green onion. And I just chopped up the green part. Yeah. Because we're just gonna use this for garnish. Put a little bit on top. There is that. And there we are. I think that looks amazing. It's got good color, and it's, I'm telling you, I wish you could smell it. I really do. Of course, I wish you guys could really come over. All of you. I think that would be awesome. You know, maybe someday, before I get too old to do much of anything but roll around in a wheelchair, which will never happen because I'm going to stay young forever, I'll rent out like a hall or something. We can just get everybody together. Wouldn't that be awesome? Have everybody show up. I think that would be so cool. All right, so let me get some of the, not only the pineapple in there, but some of the peppers. I think I put more peppers in this, if nothing else. Just doesn't seem like there's a lot. So first, I don't think I mentioned it when I was talking about the peppers. You just want to rough chop them. You know, as big or as small as you want, just like any other time. Your onions, on the other hand, you want them fine diced, and then of course your pineapples will be whatever they come out as of the can, or if you have fresh pineapple per se, depending on where you're at and what your grocery store carries, you can just cut it into chunks, little chunks or big chunks, or however big you want. I mean, the world is your oyster, right? Make them any size you want. Big meatballs, small meatballs, big chunks of pineapple, little chunks of green pepper, red peppers, however you want to work it. You know, you could quadruple this recipe and probably freeze the meatballs, which would be awesome. But anyhow, let's give this a shot and see how we go. That is really good. I mean, really good. Those meatballs are tender. You know, I wasn't sure how they were going to turn out. Would they be overdone? Would they be underdone? Would they be, you know, moist? Perfect. That sauce is crazy good. Crazy good. Yeah. Family's going to love this. That is superior. Amazing. Just absolutely fantastic. I'm really glad Chris ran across this recipe, because I feel like I would have been missing something in life if she wouldn't have. That's really just that good. Give this a try. Hands down, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. Your family won't be disappointed. Your friends won't be disappointed. The neighbors, strangers that you invite over, nobody's going to be disappointed with these. This would be good now that it's playoff season for football. These didn't take long to make. We spent more time in the oven and talking to each other than we did actually making the product. I'm going to say about 35 minutes start to finish. You know, easy. And everybody's going to just basically body slam these meatballs whenever, whether it be for dinner, a party, an event. You will not go wrong with these meatballs, and they taste so much. They're just very Hawaiian, hands down. So try these and let me know if you do. You know, I'll be very curious to see what you guys think, because those are some of the best meatballs I've had in a very long time. They are definitely not jelly meatballs. Yeah, and I wouldn't change a thing. Not a thing. Hands down, not a thing. Over rice is great. I'm going to make up some broccoli real quick and probably throw that on the side. I think that would be a good addition as a side dish to this, although you could just eat it like it is, and I think you couldn't go wrong. I don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow for dessert. I was hell-bent determined on that carrot pie, but I have a bunch of recipes, so many recipes that I want to try. So I don't know if that's exactly what I want to do. You know, we just did a lot of pies and cookies over the Christmas era. We've done a couple cakes so far. So I don't know exactly what we're gonna make yet. But I mean, we'll for sure know by tomorrow, right? Because I'll have to probably get butter out to set to room temperature and eggs and things of that nature. So I'll do it soon enough, and you'll know as soon as I post the video. But I'm sure it's gonna be just an amazingly sweet treat. You know, all the same. But I really don't know. Yeah, I was just thinking about, and this will be the last ramble I go on before we end this. But I was using this pot holder. And I don't know if you can see this pot holder or not. Well, you can't now because I'm holding it up. But it's got a hole in it right there. It's got, you know, it's missing some stuff there. This pot holder, my mom bought in 1976, 1977. And even though it's got those holes and has become a left-handed pot holder, just solely based on the fact that those holes right there will burn your fingers, I wouldn't trade this for all the tea in China. You know, it looks worn and tattered, but it's pretty much as old, almost as old as I am, almost. Well, actually, I got about a few years, but it brings back so many memories, and I wouldn't trade it for all the tea in China. There's a handful of things around here like that. You know, whether they were Chris's moms, my grandmothers, my great aunts, Chris's grandmas, that we use that bring back really fond memories from us. Do you guys have anything that's like that? You know, that you still use to this day? Because I still use this pot holder all the time. It's like the pot pads that, you know, the rice and the meatballs are sitting on. Those there. These are 20 years old. Mom bought these for us when we got married. You know, and like I said, they just bring back fond memories. I was wondering if you guys had anything like that. So anyhow, till tomorrow for dessert. I look forward to your comments down below, but I love you. I love you very much, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Tell somebody else you love them and that you love them very much. They may need to hear it. You know, it's going to make them feel good either way it goes. It's going to make you feel good to tell them. You know, and if you make them some of these Hawaiian meatballs, there's going to be so much conversation and a smile on their face from ear to ear. You know, you'll probably end up spending the entire evening together singing, you know, Hawaiian songs. It'll be awesome. You know, you can invite the neighbors over. You could probably just end up throwing a party because they're going to call people and be like, dude, these meatballs are amazing. And next thing you know, you're going to have 60 people at your house. I mean, that would be weird, but fun. So until tomorrow for dessert, I love you. I'll see you then. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.